Welcome to a sunny Parnell Park for the go-ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship clash of Kilmacud Crokes, the defending champions, and St. Vincent's. Both of these teams are through to the knockout stages already, but the winner of the group goes straight to the semi-finals, whereas second and third have to go into the quarter-finals. So the winner here will get that spot as the winner of the group and will go straight to the semi-finals and will skip a game. Joe Fortune is with me for this match. Joe, what are you expecting?
Look, I think we've come to the real business part of it now, Oisín. Like people are asking me during the week, would you want to win this one? Would you want an extra game? I think you don't beat that feeling of winning, to be honest with you. And I think both Vincents and Crokes here today, Bowden and Cool, will want to win their games. I know you have a bit of a bigger gap, but I think it gets interesting today. Like we've a sunny autumn day in Parnell Park, and you've got two big sides up against each other with aspirations here of pushing on. Crokes obviously champions from last year, and Vinnies too. Look, they've been thereabouts in semi-finals and quarter-finals for the last number of years. So I think both teams will want to win it today to guarantee themselves a semi-final, because you're going to avoid possibly Lucan or Bridget's on the far side as well, or Nafina or Plunkett. So for me, it's about winning, get that mentality right, and keep going.
There is another game going on concurrently over in O'Toole Park. If Lucan beat St. Bridget's, they will go into the quarterfinals. If it's a draw, Lucan go into the relegation playoffs alongside Craig Kieran, while Bridget's go into the quarterfinals. If Vincent's lose and Bridget's win, then the placings will be decided on scoring difference as the teams drew earlier in the group. I hope that clarifies things for you. We will have regular score updates from O'Toole Park. Kilmacud Crokes, the champions, they've kind of cruised through the group so far, Joe, but that isn't always a positive, is it?
No, it's not. And look, I saw the same in 18 and 19 with Bowden as well, where that, the first couple of games, like, look, I think the format's different this year, but look, from what I've heard, Crokes have been very impressive. What I'm really impressed with is the allegiance that they're really putting in these younger players that are coming through, the Brian Sheehy's, young O'Cossack as well, Luke Lock, like all these Davy Crowes, guys that have done well with Dublin 20s over the last number of years. And there's a lot of names, Oisín, after coming out of that team since we beat them in 18 in a county final. So the likes of Corcoran and Bill and Ross and Keane McGowan is still there but not starting, Dwyer, all those kind of lads. So there's a big emphasis on youth here from Kieran Dowling in Kilmacud, and from what I've heard, like, they seem to be really motoring well this year. So a big test for them today, like, because Vincents are strong, tough, that kind of formidable north side Dublin opponent, and if Vincents have aspirations of getting further as well, they're going to want to put on a good showing here today.
So it's Vincents against Kilmacud Crokes in the Dublin Senior Hurling Championship. Beautiful conditions for a game as well.
Yeah, sure. Look, is there a better pitch in the country at times when the sun is shining? You have to give credit to the groundsmen here as well for the standard of the pitch this time of year as well. It's a carpet out there, and look, I suppose the argument is at times people will say that you've whatever 2-3 Southside teams over here this year, or today I should say, rather than a couple of the Northside teams gone over to O'Toole Park. But both pitches, in fairness, on their day can hold the sod well, and there won't be an excuse, I don't think, from Vincents or Crokes or Bowden or Coola here today in regards to the setup that's here.
Could we see the teams let loose, given that both of them are through to the knockout stages, or do you think that it will be the same kind of approach to a normal championship game if such a thing exists?
I think these two teams, Oisín, I think the same for Bowden and Cool later on. I think it's a free shot today. Like, you go at it today and you really go at it in a kind of dogmatic nature. You can, you have nothing to lose. If you go at it today and you get the win, you're straight through to a semi-final. So I think from a management perspective, where I've been for the last number of years, it's very hard to go out and tell a team that it doesn't really matter. You're into a stage now where obviously in O'Toole Park it's different. It's knockout today, and whoever loses those games faces a tough relegation match against either Jude's or Craig Kieran. So for me, you're managing Vincents or you're managing Crokes today, it's all about getting the win, keeping the show on the road. And Vincent's impressed me the last day that they were in here against Bridget's. Bridget's were unlucky probably at the end not to sneak a win, apart from a mistake over on the sideline. Young Bulger came through with a good point to score to level it. But looking at the warm-up, from the judge of the warm-up, Crokes seem to be bouncing off the ground, and some of those young lads that have come in are big, strong boys as well. So, and we haven't even mentioned Hayes and Considine inside, and we haven't talked about the likes of what Oisín and Fergal Whiteley can bring to it as well. So for me, as a manager, it's all about keeping the show on the road. The more games you win, no matter what level of the year it is, the more games you win, the more it builds into the attitude of that winning mentality.
We'd love for you to join the conversation on social media, #GoAheadDSH1. Don't forget to subscribe to the Dublin GA Dubs TV YouTube channel, and anything that we've got coming up will pop up for you automatically. There's the table. It's tight enough. If it's a draw, Crokes top the group and go through to the semi-finals. If Vincent's win, they leapfrog Crokes and they go straight to the semi-finals. Bridget's and Lucan, it's a straight shootout in O'Toole Park. Whoever wins that goes through to the quarter-finals. Craig Kieran for them. They are condemned to the relegation playoffs, but they did show something at times during games today. They'll be watching with a bit of interest today. They'll also be watching later. We've got a couple of games going on, one of them live on Dubs TV. Ballyboden St Enda's taking on Coola. It's always good when those two meet, and a bit like this game, a place at the top of the group is there for the winner. And it is important. You might be thinking to yourself, well, if they're already through, what are they worrying about? But Joe, I think most managers would rather skip the game. They'd rather not take the risk of going to the quarterfinals if they didn't have to.
Look, I agree. Like I said a couple of minutes ago, for me it's about that winning mentality, creating that. There's a couple of significant guys that seem to carry injuries for Crokes as well. You see Squealer over here on the line with Hurls. Bill O'Carroll as well is carrying a bit of a niggle. So a big test as well for some of these young Crokes lads today that have showed well over the last couple of years from a Dublin 20s point of view. And look, I expect a big showing from Crokes today. But I wouldn't rule out a big challenge from Vincents either.
We're underway. Davy Crowe taps it backwards. Crokes with the probing ball, which bounces kindly, trying to get away is Alex Considine. Considine gets his shot away, and that looks really good. That's a great score by Alex Considine.
Yeah, look, and I've been at the other end of the scale with Alex. Like when he's on form, he's hard to stop. He's a big boy, and he's well able to take the man on. He's constant goal threat, but a good score to settle Crokes into it. Can
Vincents respond pretty quickly? Crokes have made a late change there. Luke O'Loughlin, one of the younger breed that you were talking about, has come in. He wants to stake a claim. Brian Sheehy, who was on both panels last year, of course, Kilmacud Crokes doing the double in Dublin last year. One thing that disappointed Crokes was not getting to the Leinster final, beaten by a better team on the night, but they won't be thinking about Leinster right now. They'll be thinking about getting to the semi-finals and trying to get Dublin done again. That's not easy. Dara Purcell taking off. Lots of green for him to run into. Dara Purcell lets one go. Be some score if it goes over, but it drops short into Dupuire, and he just flights it long. Sheehy out in front. Good take. Recycled it in contact. Not easy to do. Davy Crowe. Whiteley. Nice movement from Whiteley. He's been chased down there by Tom Connolly. Here's Oisin O'Rourke,
score,
who puts it over.
Yeah, it's a good score, and they're hurling well there. You can see the ball, like Sheehy come out with a serious ball. He's a big man coming out there, and again O'Costick didn't panic. Good ball, and again, it's a ball into Oisin's hand, and if you leave him in space, the same happened against Luke, and if he's left in space at all, he's well able to put that ball over the bar from 60 or 70 yards.
Both of these teams with players that have played for Dublin at all the grades. Good movement from Bulger. Lanigan turning and twisting. On the chase after it, Oisin Mulcahy. He's going to be beaten to it. Good work by Cian Ryan. Cian Ryan still going. Great strength by Cian Ryan. Crokes have an advantage coming, but Davy Crowe chooses to play. Goes in over the top, chasing after it. Fionn O'Kella. Fionn O'Kella might be thinking goal here. O'Kella. I'm not sure if that was a shot or a pass. Either way, it was well defended by Vincents.
Yeah, and again, it was well defended, and O'Kelly probably should have finished it and should have taken the ball, put it over the bar, but really good defending from Crokes inside as well. Like, very impressive so far on how they're delivering the ball outside.
That's left behind by fullback Dara Butler. Vincent's looking to get a score, their first of the game. Going for it there is James Mulcahy, one of three Mulcahy brothers. He hits it wide.
And I'd say Oisin Lanigan's probably annoyed as well, or Oisin, I should say Oisin is not playing today, but Oisin Lanigan over on the far side for Vincents is annoyed because he turned back once or twice and had to look for a man to play it. You can see they're trying to put Hedgehoe on the edge of the square and trying to exploit young Sheehy inside, but he's a big man, he's the same height really as Hedgehoe when you look inside, so if Vincents want to make use of Hedgehoe, they're going to have to leave space in front of him to allow him to win the ball as well.
Shane Veal just ran out of pitch there. It's a line ball to St Vincent's. Conor Burke presented himself. It's intercepted very well by Dara Purcell. Running onto it is Alex Considine. He's already got one from the other side. And he doesn't have one from the left. Not right now, anyway.
Yeah, but if you look, Oisin, if you see the way they're setting up inside there as well for people sitting at home, they have a two-man full forward line of the two lads inside, Alex and obviously Hazer as well, but they're allowed serious space on either side, so if you put ball into Alex like that and he wins it, he's an opportunity to score every single time.
That was a really good score by Brian Bulger, and we referenced it earlier on. He is a man that can stand up and get big scores for his team. Scored the equaliser against Bridget's. Very good link player, but very good scorer as well. Vincents have just too many numbers back there. Move back out wide. Burke puts a little bit too much on that one. Nipping in is Oisin O'Rourke. Oisin O'Rourke, who is loving this deeper role that he's played for Crokes in the last couple of seasons. Considine tries to beat his man, tries to turn his man.
It's a serious score.
We said it earlier on, he probably wouldn't have to wait too long until he got a score from the left, having missed a shot there a couple of minutes ago. Didn't miss that one. Crokes leading by 2.
Yeah, but it's not. It's very hard to defend that. The type of ball they're putting in at a diagonal as well, like, you know, and Alex is out in front. That's, you know, 3 shots, 2 scores from 3 shots.
Alan Moore. Keeper Gibbons has to be careful here. That's brilliantly taken and brilliantly scored by Heatherton. What a goal.
What a goal, and that's what he's capable of doing, and that's why Vincents are trying to keep him on the edge of the square. Like, after a couple of good moves from Crokes, like Vinny's are straight back into it again. A great ball won by Hedgehoe and finished it well as well.
Well, it's old school, but the big man in the square, it's hard to beat, isn't it?
It is. There's a place for it still. Like, we can talk about formations and setups, but when you have a man capable of winning ball like Hedgehoe can at times, I think credit to Mark as well, refereeing it there. He allowed a couple of off the ball hits to keep going and allowed. So I think as a refereeing thing as well, he's allowing the game to go and no silly frees and, you know, no blow, which is great to see. Bulger
having received from Lanigan goes with the diagonal. Hedgehoe comes out to meet it, gets it outside. Here's Alan Moore. Moore, who's good to get a goal himself, gets a point this time.
Good score. And Hedgehoe has the tail up, which he has now after that goal as well. He won that ball well, popped it out to Alan, and a good score off his left hand side. So Vincents are starting to go now.
Alan Moore, the captain. Dara Butler. Cian O'Casig. I beg your pardon, that's actually Brian Sheehy. Fumbled, but Crokes regained the possession. Now it's Cian O'Casig. Takes it through a crowd, manages to find Whiteley. Whiteley lets this one go. Whiteley hits it wide, a second wide for Crokes.
Yeah, they've got 5 or 6 sitting around that half back line for Vincent as well, which is not allowing any space for, you know, the playmakers, the likes of Whiteley and that to kind of get on ball a lot more. But when obviously as well they're allowing an extra defender now as well in Crokes, which could set them up to get the right ball to run on.
Hayes takes it cleanly, strikes it cleanly, and scores his first of the game.
Yeah, they're dangerous inside, O'Shante. The two boys, like, when the ball goes in every time, like, you know, they're capable of scoring, and you can see Berkey sitting in behind Ronan Hayes as well as a cover. But when the ball goes in, the two of them are very, very dangerous.
Ronan Hayes, his head dropped last year against Nafina when he missed that penalty, but boy did he stand up afterwards. The kind of player that any club or county would need. Oisin O'Rourke, who's one of the oldest members of the panel, but he looks the youngest.
Yeah, he was lucky enough to have Oisin in, I think, 14 and 15.
Here's Considine, he's got Hayes inside. Considine!
Oh, what a finish.
1-2 for Considine, and there's only 7.5 minutes gone.
Yeah, if you're sitting up in that stand now and you have an aspiration of being involved in a blue jersey over the next couple of months, like, there's a man who's putting his hand up today, like, to be involved. Like, what a finish inside, you know, after a great ball in. But look, I've said it from the start, the 2-man full forward line with that space is absolutely, it's just leaving so much room for Alex and Ronan to run into.
Morehouse Carroll swats it outside. Moved on. Here's a shot from James Mulcahy, who floats it over. That's a really good response from Vincents.
Yeah, and the two teams have done the same. Immediately after the goal, the two teams have come back and scored straight away, which is important. It's free flowing. There's no real massive hits in it yet. Probably you could say no real championship intensity to it. It's a lot of free flowing stuff, but like, the two full forward lines look dangerous.
Purcell put a little bit too much on that. It was well read by Conor Burke. Left it behind but had the time to recover. Burke takes the tackle, advantage being played now. The free will come. It was a little bit loose by Shane Veal.
A little bit Mark using the head again, like, you know, he's just putting the tick beside the name and allowing it, because it's not a dirty game like that at all, and that's good refereeing again.
Conor Burke. That's taken well by Heatherton. He'll go for it.
Yeah.
And I think he'll get it. That's exquisite.
When he's on form, Oisin, he's hard to stop. I saw it in, I think it was 19 here as well, like an extra time where he turned it on and he was able to take Bowden that day. So when Hedge's like that, he's hard to stop, and he seems to have the tail up now today.
Sheehy. Not afraid to take on his man, which is pretty brave when you consider his man is Heatherton. Got the free there. Gibbons is going to jog out to take it. One of the Dublin team that got to an under-20 All-Ireland final. Ronan Hayes comes out, rescues it. Winding up and having a go. Fionn O'Kella.
Good score.
It's a good score.
Yeah, and Hazer used the head there as well rather than going for his own score. Saw Fionn outside him and used the ball well, turned the ball well, and a good score for Crokes.
It's a really good game. Both these teams just going at it. Morehouse Carroll trying to get away from Oisin O'Rourke. Mark Sweeney. Morehouse Carroll has plenty of time and space. Heatherton has his arms up inside the square. He wants it. Morehouse Carroll recycles. Oisin O'Rourke put in the hit, but he couldn't stop his man. That was a good pass. Callum Walsh recycles. Mulcahy carries on, trying to get away here from Dara Butler. Gets it inside. Heatherton couldn't make it his, kicked away, but Heatherton hasn't given up on it. And it's a free into Vincents.
Yeah, I think he's right. I think Mark's right there as well. And if I was Hedgehoe, I'd be annoyed because there's an awful lot of stuff going out around tip tapping, and he's one-on-one inside, and he's on fire. Gave him the ball inside because he seems to be dangerous. So look, he'll get the free here now anyway. But a little bit overworked, I think, from Vincent at times there as well, especially when that one-on-one is there for him.
Tapped over by Heatherton. He's now on 1-2. Two players out there already on 1-2. Alex Considine on the Crokes side, Heatherton on the Vincent side. Gibbons. Sheehy had to juggle it, then spills it out to Cian Ryan. Cian Ryan, who played on the same minor team as Ronan Hayes, Fergal Whiteley, and Alex Considine. Dara Butler also on that Crokes minor team.
It was tight there. I think Fergal's too happy with that call. I think it was tight in the line, but look, Tom Gleeson's there as well. I'm sure the eyesight's not too bad for Tom, even though the hair is starting to recede a small, but you can see from up here.
There's nothing wrong with that. James Mulcahy. That's a really good diagonal. A fantastic take. Vincent's in on goal. Great hook. The chance not gone yet. Sheehy gets across. Pulled on by Mulcahy. Just won't quite come into the hand of James Mulcahy. Oisin Mulcahy and James Mulcahy, the brothers battling for it there, but Crokes win the possession. Shane Veal. Veal trying to get away from Ryan McBride. Forward goes from Purcell. Intercepted. Burke guided it outside to James Mulcahy.
See Hedgehoe again looking for the ball. He feels he's on top and they're giving the ball quicker.
Burke just couldn't keep it on target.
Yeah, the full back line for Crokes just a little bit. Dara needs to kind of have a chat in there now with two of the younger lads as well. I'm impressed with O'Cosick so far. He's a fine player, but it's important as well that they stay stable on Hedgehoe, because if they give him space at all, he'll break that net every time.
Luke O'Loughlin, having received a perfect pass, doesn't apply the perfect finish. Morehouse Carroll.
Three times, yeah.
Well, that's frustrating for Vincents. They had the possession, they had a good position, but Morehouse Carroll caught the ball three times, and it's a free in for Kilmacud Crokes.
And again, for someone that's not at the match, if you look at the space that's in front of the two lads inside there, he had time there as well to get that ball in. And look, he's a young player as well coming through for Vincents, and he learned, and again, you have to give credit as well to some of the Crokes forwards here that are working very, very hard. I know you've pronounced it wrong a few times, but I do think in fairness to some of the young, O'Callig is doing really, really well in there.
Oisin O'Rourke. Wide.
No real wind or anything rushing there today, like a small bit over to the right hand side. That's not for Rushing's, a man of his standards as well. He'd be disappointed with that.
That was a really good take by Connolly.
Yeah.
Gibbons keeps it in play. It was risky, but it's a risk that works out. Taking and turning, Fergal Whiteley. Good ball. Cormac Murphy, originally from Mallow in County Cork. Falls the way of Hayes, has Considine with him. Hayes trying to get away from Burke. Hayes still going, drops it so he can play it. Lanigan pickpockets him. Really good defending by him.
Ocean did really, really well there.
That's well taken. Is it well finished?
It's a great score, Rush. Yep.
The answer is yes. Fantastic work from James Mulcahy.
Just too much out of by Ronan inside. Like, he demand turned. He obviously had Alex beside him as well, and you know, did Purcell outside him too. So just to turn that ball a bit quicker, it's important, and that's a learning for the next day for him.
Ball breaks kindly for Vincents, trying to dig it up there was Rory Pocock, but Crokes steal away with it. Whiteley dropped it, got it back again. Veal. That's actually not Veal, that is Fionn O'Kella who puts it over.
Yeah, good score. And again, you know, good tackling, and you know, that forward line, that, and I suppose that, look, it's the future of Crokes. It's probably the future for Dublin as well. Some of those players look really, really sound on the ball and really strong as well. Been impressed with the lads inside, and young Purcell's wrists. You know, he's a fine player.
Cormac Murphy guides it back to Gibbons. He was looking for Shane Veal. Lanigan intercepts it. It might break kindly here for Luke O'Loughlin. It does. Good ball. Oisin O'Rourke turning and twisting. O'Rourke off the stick. Does that have the legs? Just about. Good score. His second of the game.
He's getting off the six a lot, isn't he? He's creating problems in around there like Oisin all the time, and the six doesn't know whether to go with him or to sit or to stay. And Burkey's caught inside in as well, obviously, as the extra man. So they've obviously put young Morehouse Carl out in Oisin now, but you're going to have to follow him. If you give him space, he'll score every time.
Morehouse Carl, who's had his leaving cert this year. Two players at the opposite end of the spectrum regards age. That's fantastic from Morehouse Carl. Just spilled by Mulcahy. Crokes steal in and get it again. It is Shane Veal. Veal floats it inside. He's looking for Hayes. Hayes takes it despite the pressure. Hits a diagonal. Lanigan can't get there. Whiteley takes it. Whiteley. Wide ball is the shout from the Vincents backs, and they are correct. A fourth wide by my count for Crokes.
Yeah, great ball across by Hazer, and Whiteley had a chance there, and he'll be disappointed because he likes that side, you know. He'll be disappointed himself, but you know, again, they're moving well. Their forward movement is very, very good. So it's, you know, it's a case of just trying to temper down those wides.
Ryan McBride. Murphy swallows up the possession. Murphy is a little bit loose there. Scarpering back is Brian Sheehy.
As well. I think he's hamstring.
Let's hope for him he's okay. Slotted out here to Cian Ryan. Oisin O'Rourke up against Morehouse Carroll.
It's a fine ball.
It's a great ball. Hayes is the intended target. It does fall his way more by accident than design. Hayes is in on goal here. Still going Hayes. Good block. He'll pull on the ground if he can get there. He can't. Keeper sweeps it up well. And I think Owen O'Neill has taken a knock for his trouble there. Bravely defending that one, preventing the goal. But at what cost?
Yeah, I'd like to see that one again. Now again, I think when Ronan was going inside the two, it was a case where he looked like, I think Mark was so close to it, and it's a good call from Mark Ryan as referee, but Hazer was after breaking through. Did his right arm get dragged? No, it's a great tackle, and good call by the referee as well.
It was Mark O'Farrell who got back and made that tackle. Very experienced player in around 26. I don't know about game saving, but certainly goal saving.
See the umpires having a chat up there as well. I hope I'm right in the tackle, but I think it was. I think it was a really, really brave tackle to get in, and I think Mark's done a good job there so far, and look, he's got two very experienced boys with Tom and Sean on the line with him there as well, so big game for him here today as well.
Referee having a word with Hayes. Well, O'Farrell will try and play on if he possibly can, but he is kind of limping. Crokes have made a change because of the injury in the play before that. Coming in for them is Brian Hayes.
Crokes are impressive so far. Their movement, like Fionn O'Callagh, he's had a good start for a game as well, even though he's only got a point on the board, but he's impressive. His movement is impressive, and Fergal always, like, you know, he's great feet, but Oisín is the one that's making it kind of tick all the time. Like, he's getting off the 6 and he's kind of playing a 10 now and 12, so he's causing problems.
Hedgehow has it in the hand.
We got it again.
That's a brilliant finish. John Heatherton with his second goal of the game.
And it's not, you said earlier, Oisín, you made a great point, it's not rocket science either. Like, they're getting the ball in on that 14 spot. Great hand again, and look, it's something that Crokes needs to look at now. Like, do you leave the same man on him? Do you know, he's got 2 balls out of 3 over his head, so, you know, it's something that you have to look at, and you've got experienced guys like McGowan and that on the line as well that you could look at being involved at some stage.
Left behind by Whiteley, but cleaned up by Oisín O'Rourke, who's going for it. Plenty of air on it, doesn't have the accuracy.
Yeah.
That's an unbelievable score from Oisín O'Rourke. His 3rd of the game, all from play.
Yeah, he's had a great year so far, and, you know, somebody who wasn't involved with the Dublin panel last year for whatever reason, somebody again who I think has something, you know, despite his size and his stature, he's capable of scoring from that midfield area all the time.
Ryan McBride trying to get away from O'Cosick. Heatherton gets out in front of his man Sheehy. Sheehy does well. Heatherton tries to win it back. It breaks kindly for Sheehy. He didn't give up on it, did he, Hedgehow?
He did good tackling, yeah, and that's part of his game that I would have always said, that little thing that he has to work on, and that's really good tackling by Hedgehow.
That's a shot from a tight angle from Brian Bulger.
I'm glad you said shot.
You couldn't have let it go, no? It is a wide. O'Callagh was the target, but Morehouse Carroll read that really well and got across.
Yeah, he's got on a lot of ball, hasn't he, as a young lad? You said only after doing his leaving cert, he's been busy as a corner and wing back there.
O'Callagh slipped through the fingers of Shane Veal. Both O'Callagh and Veal wearing white helmets and white boots. Both tall lads.
You don't pronounce the GHs in Waterford, no? O'Callagh, no? I suppose maybe that's the teacher coming out to me and listen.
I think it would probably depend on what part of the country the name originates from, if that makes sense. Heatherton is under it. Falls out here for James Mulcahy. Mulcahy has found a way through. Crokes, to be fair, got their bodies between the attacker and the goal. And now Crokes have won it back to Luke O'Loughlin. It's a smart turn by O'Loughlin and a good pass to Brian Hayes. Hayes looking for O'Callagh. Trying to get away from Owen O'Neill.
Good hands.
Smart turn. Has Considine with him. Might take it on himself. It's wide.
Yeah, Dara was calling it from an early, just off his left hand side. Good hands to get away from the man. Like, he's a player with a lot of potential, I think, going forward for Crokes and possibly for Dublin as well. Like, we see there's an injury here as well from a Vincents just down at a 6th position here.
We'll play on. Vincent's on the attack, but with a man down. Now we'll get the chance to stop. I think it might be, again, Mark O'Farrell. Remember, he took that knock while blocking Ronan Hayes, or hooking Ronan Hayes, as Vincent's go for a shot from a tight angle and put it over.
Yeah, they've definitely come back into it. Like, Crokes seem to be playing the better hurling, but it's just the danger of that fella on the edge of the square with Hedgehow, like that's really dragged them back into it. And they've got a couple of very good scores as well from their wing backs in midfield. So, again, Crokes, like, when they get the proper ball in, it's just, I think there's goals in that full forward line for Vincents every time they get the ball in.
Vincent's on the attack again. Heatherton is the target. Heatherton breaks it, stuck to him though, is Dara Butler. Be it Butler or Sheehy, in the last couple of plays, the Crokes backs have broken even with Heatherton. Now, he's already done an awful lot of damage, but they are quite young, so they are kind of getting used to playing big men at this level.
Absolutely, but you get 10 balls in. If the full forward wins 3 out of 10, like, you're still only at 30%, but you can get 3 goals with the likes of Hedgehow there, and that's the learning curve for these 2 young lads inside, who I do rate very highly for Crokes as well. This fella's he has the wrists and the feet. Like,
he has the advantage as well. It's a free in. $11 points for Crokes, 13 for Vincents. Lanigan with the last points for Vincents. And that is O'Farrell who is down. Joe, your eyes are younger and sharper. That is a 3 on his back, isn't it?
You said younger, was it?
Younger and sharper, yes.
Yeah, number 2 on his back.
2?
Yeah. He'll be disappointed, because he's done well in there, and he was very brave on the tackle. It seems to be something in his lower leg rather than he looks dejected going off there now as well. And again, I know Vincents are carrying. Tom O'Connor's not available there. We haven't mentioned Ryan McBride yet. Keane McBride as well is not available through injury too. So he'll be disappointed, because he's done well there, and you can see, look, the manager's out and that word in the air, and I suppose in 2 weeks' time now he has to get ready for either a quarter final or in 4 weeks' time for a semi.
Well, Keane McBride couldn't start, but he has just come on. O'Rourke guides it over.
Again, the younger of the McBrides is not there today too. I've been very impressed with him all year. I think Dark has a big future ahead for Vinnies and for Dublin as well. So, both teams are missing a couple of notable absentees today with injuries, and I suppose as dual clubs as well, maybe that's having a small impact. But more, I suppose this fella has loads of ability. Like, if he could just win that primary ball first time.
O'Kella trying to use those wrists, use those skills, but can't keep it in play. Line ball for Vincents.
And again, now this is, for me, from a management point of view, why is Hedgehow out so far now? Like, he's the one that's causing the danger. He doesn't need to be out at 10 or 12. He needs to be stuck at 14.
And that's a foul on Shale Veal. It's a free in. Oisin O'Rourke will strike this one. A very lively first half, a very entertaining first half. O'Rourke looking for a second free, and getting it. He lands that one from well out the country.
Yeah, he's brought that into it again. He would have been underage wise. He was a phenomenal free taker. I remember I had Barry. Barry was my captain, his brother in 07 in the minor, and what a great family as well. They've produced, with Shane, the other brother too, they've produced 3 fine hurlers, and Barry would argue Oisin is the best of them, but he's had a serious couple of years now with Crokes as well.
Connolly went out wide. They're trying to break through. Standing up there like a wall is Luke O'Loughlin. Can he turn and twist and get a shot away? Brian Bulger. Bulger does well, trying to get away from Davy Crowe. Bulger dropped it, got it again. Bulger. How he kept that for so long, I'm not sure. Brilliant skill from Bulger. And then Vincent's give it away. Oisin O'Rourke sliding in, trying to make it his. Breaks kindly. Morehouse Carroll squirts out. Falls kindly for Crokes. Trying to escape here is Dara Purcell. He's speedy, isn't he?
He's very fast, yeah. Good score, is it? Yep. Hedgehow's gone over his ankle there, small. He just looked a little bit uncomfortable. Physio's out to him now, but I think he's saying he's okay.
That was a really well taken score by Dara Purcell. You can see when he gets any time and space, he will do damage. He'll run at teams. He's very difficult to stop. Another one of the All-Ireland under-20 crew for Dublin that actually played in the final in 2021. But of course, you all know why that was delayed. We don't have to talk about that period in history again, do we?
Yeah, and again, just Hedger just a bit gingerly walking over. He won't mind me saying that, I'd say, just to the free. Just seemed to go over a small bit on the foot. Again, I question why he's come out from 14, because him at 12 is fine for a puck-out option, but for me, he was causing massive damage inside in that first 15-20 minutes. It's flown by though, Oisin, like we're nearly at half time now, and it's a good open game. Like no real tough in it, like no real tough hits in it, apart from the goal line save from Ronan. But a good open game with like a lot of good players on show here as well. But I'm sure both managements now at half time will say, look, there's a chance here now for you to get to a semi final, and only one more gap after that to get to a county final. So I'd say both managements will try and drive this on now at half time.
Heatherton flies that one over. His second free of the game. He's now on 2-3. 2-1 of that from play. It's launched long. Davy Crow. Considine gets there. Lanigan tries to close him down. Considine gets his shot away. Can he squeeze it over from the tightest of angles? The answer is no. 6 wides for Crokes.
He just looks so good every time though. His feet and his wrists, just 2 poor wides from him, but from a guy of his standards as well. But he looks dangerous every time he gets the ball. But very impressed with Gibbons' puck outs as well. You probably see yourself, like he's laser sharp over to the right hand side and left hand side every time. So another good keeper coming up that's has promise for Dublin as well.
Cian McBride wearing number 20. There's a few changes numbers wise to the team that was released through social media. Callum Walsh got it off to Ryan McBride, who lets one go and puts it over.
And that's probably one of the first or second times we've mentioned him. He's been quiet enough. He's been held well at 11, but a good score off his left.
Well, you know what I'm going to say about Ryan McBride, don't you? And I say it every time. It's spelt Ryan, but he himself prefers Ryan. And I asked him again today, and again he said Ryan. I just wanted to be 110% sure.
Just check at half time with young O'Callaghan and ask him what he wants to be called as well, will you?
Personal. You mean O'Callaghan? Hayes takes it with him,
lovely.
Squirts it off to Fergal Whiteley. Whiteley trying to get around Burke. That's not easy to do. Advantage coming for Crokes anyway.
Great hands by Hayes there as well to Whiteley, who was just off the shoulder, and a good call by Mark Ryan as well as referee. But I just think, for me, for the first time seeing Crokes this year, like they look dangerous. Their movement, the young players that are there, it's constant movement. If you're managing against them, it's constant change. Where Considine is going and where Hazer is as well. So I've been very impressed by their movement so far. But you have to give it to Vincents, the 2 balls that they put inside or 3 balls that they put inside to Hedjo. He's 1-2 in the air, and again, that's just something that they can look at half time. Bit of niceness going on between him and Butler up there as well now at the moment. Butler's a tough up boy as well, so he'll be giving Hedjo a bit of a welcome, I'd say, before half time.
You keep an eye on that. I was keeping an eye on Oisin O'Rourke sticking over the free. Dara Butler, who played minor hurling for Dublin with Conor Burke on the Vincent side. Cian McBride just spilled by Connolly on the way through. Davy Crow over the head of Oisin O'Rourke. As you say, Joe, it has flown by. I just noticed that it's injury time. Lucan leading by 11 points to 7 at half time against St. Bridget's. So as it stands, they'll be going through to the quarterfinals, and Bridget's will be going to the relegation playoffs. It's tough justice in Dublin hurling now, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, that's we knew what that was going to be in whatever January, February when it was announced. So it's a tough group for both those teams as well, for Bridget and Lucan as well. But there's half time now.
So it's half time here. It's also half time in O'Toole Park. Lucan leading by 4 there. Here, Kilmacud Crokes 1-12. That's 15 points. St. Vincent's 2-9. That's 14 points. And it has been a very entertaining game, Joe.
Yeah, entertaining, open, kind of free flowing. No big, massive hits or physicality in it yet. And I suppose both forward lines been allowed a little bit more space than you'd expect in a championship match. But I suppose, like we said, it's a little bit different here. While it's important today, it's also on the basis that both teams will still be in it after today, which I'm sure kind of subconsciously they know as well.
It's been an entertaining first half. Let's have a look at the highlights.
Yeah, I've been really impressed inside with the 2 boys, Alex and Hazer inside. When they're given that kind of space, they seem to be working off a line which kind of gives them 40 yards on either side of them, and when the ball is put in properly, they've been dangerous. That's a great score by Oisin as well, who's been doing really, really well at 11, not only at 11 but in around midfield. Bulger probably doing similar for Vinny's as well. Good score off his right hand side.
Considine well able to score regardless of where he is. He missed one just a minute or two before from almost the exact same angle. Didn't miss on the second attempt.
Yeah, and I suppose he was only kind of come when I had Bowden in 18-19. He was a young guy coming through. We didn't have him as a 21. So look, do you see Hedgehoe again when he's inside and he gets that ball in hand? He's a big boy, like he's what 6'5", 6'6", I'd say. So he's well able to win his own ball. And but going back to Alex, I've been impressed with him all day. I think he's a massive future ahead for Crokes. And once he's willing to listen and learn, because there's a lot of things that some of those younger players have to get through over the number of years. But he's definitely somebody for Dublin who has a future ahead, I think, as well.
Ball broke kindly for him here, but he had to take advantage, and boy did he.
Yeah, great finish. So
a couple of good finishes in this game.
Vincent's have been efficient. Yeah, Vincent's have been efficient with their shooting, kind of from out wide. You know, especially over on the side closest to us here, they've been accurate enough. But you know, again, you know, you look for me, like when you stand from the viewpoint of being neutral here. I know you're not, but when I'm neutral, kind of stand.
When I'm in the commentary box,
when I'm looking at it, it's like I've been really impressed by the movement of Crokes up front. I would wonder a little bit. I think they need to tighten up. I think Bill O'Carroll as a fullback, it's hard to argue with him at times too. I know, you know, there's things that he does well and doesn't, but he's a man in there too. And these young lads that are coming through are good, but like somebody with Hedgehoe's experience has exploited that twice, and I'd be fearful as a Crokes manager if they're going to put high balls in on top of him. He can be so dangerous every time.
It was a good score from tight confines. Just about had the legs. And that's quite the take from Ronan Hayes. Going for goal, but in fairness, it was a great tackle, I think, by O'Farrell, who got across to stop him.
Yeah, he said his right knee seemed to turn, I think, because he got a great hook on it, and Hazer was inside and ready to let go. But that's again. And it's simple, it's too easy, yep. You know, and I'm looking at that as a manager, and again, whether the lads do it inside, but I suppose where we are, you bring it inside, you have your iPad, your screens up in the dressing room, and you show that that's not good enough. Look, it's learning as well, because I am impressed with those young guys that are inside. I think O'Costig is a fine player, but I just think when he's in there, like that aerial ball, you know, he has to have people around him, he has to break it to ground, because with Hedgehoe, you know, trying to compete with him in the air to catch the ball, it's just not. It's not good enough.
Is that the thing, that maybe he's actually trying to catch it because he thinks that's the win? Whereas a fullback, you just get it away from the big guy and hope your teammates then sweep it up.
Yeah, look, I've been lucky enough to work with young O'Donnell and Tommy Doyle this year with Westmeath, and a lot of the time, like when they're up against those kind of guys, you know, it's about breaking the ball to ground and having two kind of fast, dynamic cornerbacks in around you as well. You know, you see Barrett for Tip doing it all the time. That, you know, it's something for me that you don't compete with Hedgehoe in the air, and I suppose we've come up against him a few times at Bowden, and it was never a case where if it was Dean Kern or Luke or Simo was on him, it was always a case of break the ball down to ground.
Yeah, well, Tommy O'Donnell, I'm not sure how he missed out on Tommy Doyle. I'm not sure how he missed out on getting an all-star selection this year. It's very easy to say that when you're not one of the selectors, of course. Half-time here, Kilmacud Crokes leading by 112 to 2-9 against St Vincent's. In the other game, just to repeat, Lucan leading by 11 points to 7 against St Bridget's. So as it stands, Kilmacud Crokes will top the group. Vincents and Lucan will go through, while Bridget's and Crave Kieran will be in the relegation playoffs. Of course, Crave Kieran knew their fate before today. Later on, Coola taking on Ballybowden St Enda's. Again, that's a shootout to top the group. Should be an interesting tie. It's rarely dull when those two meet. It hasn't been dull between Crokes and Vincents. We'll have the second half coming up shortly, so stay with us. Welcome back for the second half. Kilmacud Crokes up against St Vincent's. Remember, the winner of this tops the group. Crokes have made a change. The very experienced Rob O'Loughlin has come in. Now, interestingly, Dara Butler is still picking up John Heatherton. Rob O'Loughlin is picking up Oisin Mulcahy. But I wonder, will that change?
Yeah, Rob has loads of experience. Was there in 18 as well. I had him as an under 21, I think, in about 14 or 15. Fine player, he's a good, strong man as well. And even as a minor as well, I think that's where we had him in 07, 08, in 06, 07. So he's well able. He'll be strong, he'll be tough. And again, like we said, Hedgehouse caused problems in the first half. So I'm sure Crokes management are going to try to amend that now.
Rob O'Loughlin, who's won Leinster's at minor and under 21 level. Vincent's going for the fast start, trying to steal away his Ryan McBride. Dispossessed though, great work by Dara Purcell. Hayes tried to tap it down to Considine, but it was read brilliantly by Mark Sweeney. Then he's blocked down, Hayes picks it up, goes to ground, has the free in. Yeah,
good call by Mark again, who's been on top of it all day. Hazer got away there and he was just about to shoot off his left hand side, but he had to kind of Vinny's had to take one for the team there as well, just to stop that goal chance.
And it's a yellow card for Mark Sweeney. I'm sure he won't mind too much. As you say, he really did have to take one for the team there.
You see Vinny's gone now back again with Hedgehow at 14, and they've got young Mulcahy in beside him as well to try and work off him. So I'd say they're planning on the second half of keeping him on the edge of that square because he caused problems in the first half. Easy one for Oisin here.
Taps it over. First score of the second half. A fourth free for Oisin O'Rourke. We'll keep an eye, by the way, on Lucan and Bridget's as well. They're starting the second half as we speak in O'Toole Park. Lucan leading by 4 going into the break. And if they win, they will go through to the quarterfinals. If Bridget's can overturn the lead, then they're going through. Good pass out of the tackle to Whiteley.
Yeah, and that's what Fergal's good at Oisin. He broke off. He had a poor wide in the first half by his own standards, but on his right hand side there as well, lots of movement in with the Crokes, so great score off his right.
Conor Burke. Hayes closes them down. It was very casual from Burke, who gets it back. Outside it went from Sweeney. Cian McBride running onto it. McBride takes the tackle from Veal, stays going, gets the free in. Veal a little clumsy in how he went into that challenge.
Yeah, probably lucky not to get a yellow for that one, to be honest, because it was quite high. But again, the free here for Hedgehow, he should be one that he's able to take. But again, look, you talk from a management and coaching point of view, there's a lot of ball being played around that 45 yard area, and Hedgehow comes out and he's standing in 14, and they were so good in the first half when they got ball into him. He was so dangerous. So I'm sure that's something that they can look at for either later on today or for the next day, getting that ball faster to him inside. And
either way, there is a next day, be it a quarter-final or a semi-final. At the moment, Vincent's on their way to the quarter-finals. Remember, we'd love to hear from you. Hashtag #GoAheadDSH1 as Heatherton hits a great score. His third free of the game. He's now on 2-3. Remember, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Dublin GA, at Dubs TV and whatnot, all of these games will just pop up automatically. Okasik trying desperately to get the ball in hand, eventually does. Then it's a loose pass. Oisin O'Rourke tries to get there, beaten to it. James Mulcahy, good score.
Very good score. Yeah, Oisin's disappointed there now as well, because it was just a bit of sloppy play from young O'Cahasig as well. The ball needed to go to hand, and he'll be disappointed with that. But a great score.
Took it well and kind of sniped it over. Gibbons. Vincent's giving Crokes that short puck out option. Cian Ryan looking for Alex Considine. Considine tries to squeeze in between two, gets his shot away, but it's a free the other way.
He got called for steps, yeah, and I think if you add them up or you look at it, I think Mark is right. There was a reaction from the Vincents back there now that he doesn't seem to be too happy with, but again, just for me, looking at it, I'm looking at Crokes' ball. It's so linear at times. Like when it goes at a diagonal to the two of them, they're so dangerous inside. But everything that's linear has been kind of soaked up by Vincent's.
James Mulcahy finds Brian Bulger. It's a free in for Vincent's, who are getting on top in this game so far. In the second half, anyway.
Just a little bit of sloppy tackling there. I know they're not happy with it, but look, Marcus, he's had a good game as ref as well. But again, I just go back to that type of ball that when Crokes look good, they're giving that diagonal ball into Considine and into Hayes inside. But when they go too linear, it's just been mopped up too easily by Vincents, and obviously Vincent's management have kind of copped onto that now for the second half.
Heatherton guides it over again. Vincent's in front. Gibbons goes long this time, looking for O'Rourke. Slips through the hand of Burke. Considine. Well taken, Davy Crowe. Looking for Hayes and not finding him. Owen O'Neill. Intercepted, really well read by Davy Crowe. Or beg your pardon, Cian Ryan. O'Kella. Cian McBride. Looking for Heatherton, who fouls his man. His man is Dara Butler. Well, it may have been a foul, but in some ways Crokes got lucky, because sometimes a forward will get away with that.
Yep.
It's one of those nice all-encompassing GA words, a jostle. That tells you everything and nothing all at the same time. Hayes taps it down for Whiteley. Whiteley.
No, he doesn't get that. Smart by Hayes to tap it down, but again, Fergal himself, the standards that he has, because he's such a good player, should be expected to do that. O'Callagh has gone out of it a small bit, I think, in the second half. He looks a bit tired there as well, so maybe it's something that the Crokes management, again, for me, just from both teams, everything that goes linear is just not working, and that diagonal ball that we need to get used to, when they do that, it's a good hit.
O'Rourke goes to ground, referee.
Don't think it's for that one though. I think it's for the one before. It's a big hit, but and probably the first one of the game, really, when you look at it. But I don't think it was for that one. I think he was on an advantage that he called back because it stopped.
Well, let's get another look and see. I think maybe Shane Veal was fouled there by McBride. Either way, it's a free to Crokes. Physio Hugh Byrne is on today. He told me before the game he doesn't want to be on too much. He doesn't obviously want players getting injured or getting knocks, but it is inevitable. And O'Rourke will dust himself off and take the free. O'Rourke puts it over, and we are all square again. O'Rourke's fifth free of the game. He's eighth overall.
Yeah, and what people won't see there as well, maybe at home, is that as soon as he hit the free, he had to cover the Vincent's puck out as well, and his work rate rushing is great like that. He doesn't have a switch. He really works so hard for that Kilmacud jersey.
Out wide by Davy Crowe, trying to slither his way through his Dara Purcell. Purcell lets it go. Off the woodwork and wide.
Unlucky, some burst of pace, Oisin, though, when he gets going, and super feet there as well to take the man on. He just glides over the ground.
Well, it's a fantastic day for hurling, weather-wise, and I guess what's at stake makes it a big enough game as well, even though none of these teams are going out, but they'd both love to get directly to a semi-final. Heatherton takes it. He's being wrestled there by Butler and gets the free in. Butler defended it smartly, even though he gave away the free.
Yeah, but at some stage as well, if he's going to be caught up like that every time, Butler or whoever else, O'Loughlin, that goes in on him, is going to have to get a card, and then you're all of a sudden in danger land, because I go back to it, if they've hit 6 in, he's fouled 1, he's won 3, maybe lost 2, and if he gets it side again, it's very hard to stop a man that big, especially when Hedger's on form, which he is today. He has to tail up. He's had a very good game. Keeping him in at 14 is so important for Vincents now.
Well, as you said, they are missing Bill O'Carroll. He's injured. He hopes to be back for the next game, whatever that next game is, a quarter-final or a semi-final.
he'll get one inside as well if it's tight at the end, and same as Reiner for Bowden, like he'll get one, he will go for one of them. You know, he has that ability to hit the ball well as well, so if I was Gibbons I'd be prepared for one of them before the day is over.
Lanigan had an easy pass on there, turned back into trouble, but Veal didn't press up on him. Heatherton is the target again. It is broken and falls kindly for Rob O'Loughlin. Just bounced away from him though. Now it's Darragh Butler. Had Cian Ryan outside, but Butler drives out. Veal goes to the runner. Oisin O'Rourke.
Score, he won't miss.
It's a very, very good score. Oisin O'Rourke, he's essentially been given a free role in the last couple of seasons. Go where you need to go, basically.
Yeah, and it's a 6 as well. Like, you know, I go back, I can remember conversations with Simone in Bowden as well, or even at this year with Angus Clark or Robbie Greville. Like, the big question is, do you go or do you sit? And if you're not, you know, if you're not going, you need one of your midfielders to cover for you. And Oisin, to me, against Lucan, did the same thing. Like, he was allowed that bit of space at 11.
Veal recycled it to Cian O'Casig. That's a miss-aimed ball from O'Casig.
Hedgehoe's a one-on-one again now.
Morehouse Carroll. He's having a fine game, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Lanigan. This is going route 1 to Heatherton. It bounces away. Gibbons will get it into hand. Butler's on the ground. He's getting up now. Luke O'Loughlin. Davy Crowe. Nice turn. That's well taken. Now can he finish it off? It's Fionn O'Kellah. Conor Burke made him knock it out of his hand, but O'Kellah got it back, got the shot away, got the point.
Loads of ability. Like, he's, again, you know, he's a lot to learn, and he's a little bit to do, I'd say, in regards to just his own physical development. But he's loads of ability and off both sides. But you can see Oisin Lanigan every time he gets the ball, he looks for Hedgehoe. So obviously Crokes, and in fairness to him, Butler, he's done okay, but it just needs one chance for him to get back on that in the back of the net again. It's a good tackle.
Good take by Callum Walsh. He's blocked down by Davy Crowe.
Crowe's a fine player as well, Oisin. He's well able for that number 5 spot for Crokes.
Considine has Hayes running outside. Wins the free in. Another one that you take for the team.
Yeah, but he's reminding them, and Alex is smart, like, and he has that eye for goal, and I think that's something that we've been missing for the last year or two in a Dublin jersey as well, is that directness that you know, that Paul Ryan had maybe at a younger age, or Connell had as well, or Dotsy. And every time this fella gets the ball, he's direct, he's fast, and he's somebody who I'm sure that Micheál and the people that are involved with him will be looking at over the coming months. But yeah, look, a free, but they're going to take cards here as well, because, you know, they're being taken down. Him and Hayes are being taken down early every time.
Well, we know you're watching from all over the world. We've got a message in via YouTube from Vincent Walsh. He's watching all the way away in Toronto. His son Callum playing for Vincents today. Callum is battling hard, working hard and playing well, as are the rest of his team. It's a tight one. Vincent, I know you're enjoying this one. Crokes leading by 1 at the moment. Not what you want to see, but there's a long way to go yet. And remember, you can join the conversation via social media, #GoAheadDSH1. And don't forget to subscribe to the Dublin GA Dubs TV YouTube channel. O'Rourke. Vincent's about to give away a point, but it could have been worse. Had that run continued, it probably would have been a goal. Six frees now for O'Rourke. The scramble for possession is won by Cian Ryan, won brilliantly as well. Conor Burke was there to mind the house. Burke. Heatherton's the target again. It just got away from him, but his teammate is there to back him up. McBride taken off him. Just too many numbers there. McBride hasn't given up on it. Brian Hayes tried to make it his. There's a scramble. McBride again, just couldn't get it into the hand. I think Heatherton has it now. Bottled up, had to spill it. Can he get a shot away? Mulcahy, James Mulcahy guides it backwards into the path of Brian Bulger. Vincents have worked hard for this one, but unfortunately don't get the score.
Yeah, good defending there by Crokes. A lot of the young lads really standing up there as well, and I suppose there was a question asked by me maybe at times today, like to know where they, but young Loughlin's coming back into it there really, really well as well. Davy Crowe, very impressive, and to stop a man like Hedgehoe and McBride, who was and Ryan has been quiet today by his own standards too. We've only mentioned him a couple. He got one good score in the first half, but they've looked now, I suppose, they're trying to put a two-man full forward line inside, but in fairness to Crokes there, did very, very well. I think Rob O'Loughlin has made a difference there as well. He's made it a bit more solid since he's come in, so it's definitely, I just have been impressed by Crokes today. Now their movement, look, a couple of bit of naivety defending in the first half, but here's Ush again now.
Oisin O'Rourke, De Puera comes out, minds it well. Hayes putting him under pressure, but he gets it away to Burke. Lanigan turning and twisting, trying to get away from Veal. Stephen McCarry going the long route, trying to get away from O'Casig. This one's going to drop. Heatherton's under it. Heatherton has it. And O'Loughlin slid in, but the chance is not gone. Gibbons brave.
Yeah. Well done, yeah. Well done. Good save. He won it again. Hedgehoe won it again. Hadn't got the chance. Butler stopped the strike, but very impressed with Gibbons. Brave and a good strong tackle, but a 65.
Well, when we get a chance, or if we get a chance, we'll have another look at that one. In fact, let's have a look at it now. McCarry's shot dropping in.
Yeah, took it his right again. Very brave coming through there. Who was that? 5.
Pulling on it was Simon Gormley.
Yeah, Davy Crowe. Just threw the body on the line there as well. And that's important because that's how these young lads learn in Championship hurling too. Marking good players, Ryan McBride, Heatherton as well. These lads will learn an awful lot from today. And again, Crokes have a few on the bench to come back in. Obviously, Squealer has to come back in, Quailon and Bill has to come back in as well. You'd imagine Kilmacud will be thereabouts too. So Crokes look impressive, and at the same time, Vincent still have a massive chance of getting a win here today.
Well, they get the score.
Yeah, O'Callig has gone off there now, and they've brought on young Costello.
Into the hand of Purcell. Hayes is going to follow this one in. Just gets away from him though. Burke trying to get away from Considine. Swats it outside to Lanigan. Doesn't go direct this time. Puts it out in front of Callum Walsh. Good hit coming over from Brian Hayes. Coming out of defence, Davy Crowe.
Ball.
Oisin O'Rourke. O'Rourke turning and twisting his man. His man was Mark Sweeney.
Oh.
Dara Purcell. Oh, just too much on that, as you say. Well, you didn't say it, but your sound said it.
Yeah. And you kind of caught between two minds, I think, about putting it over the bar. It would have been great if it had worked out, but they're the points that you need to do. Just a bit too nice there. Just put the ball over the bar and take the next score on.
Mulcahy looking for Heatherton. Knocked away from him, but he gets it on the second attempt. He's got McBride running inside. Heatherton still going. He'll take it on. Just absolutely smothered. And Butler had to kick it away now. Brian Hayes tries to clean it up. Hayes pulls it, but only as far as Mulcahy. Here's Callum Walsh. Good pass by Callum Walsh. And if he'd have taken that one cleanly, Alan Moore, there was a man free on the left side. They go long. Alex Considine. That's really good defending by Vincents. Considine didn't win it cleanly, and Vincents win it back. Burke.
Really impressive defending there now as well to get over Considine's hurl and break it down to ground.
Well, I won't say there's nothing at stake, but you wouldn't think this isn't do or die. Chance presents itself for Simon Gormley. That was a good pass to McBride. Oh. And again, Crokes defenders throw themselves at it, but it does fall for Ryan McBride, who goes to ground and wins a free rather than a penalty.
Yeah, I think your use of language is perfect here. Wins a free. He knew he was getting it, and I suppose he was trying to get inside the square as well. And look, some very brave defending by the Crokes full back line, but it's only going to last so long. I just think they need more from their half back line cover as well. They're being left quite exposed inside them, and the ball goes in on top of Hedgehoe. It's throwing bodies on the line, but they only need one out, and I think a goal either end of this could win it. I know that sounds easy, but with 10 minutes to go, it's a tight enough game. I think a goal could make a massive difference.
1 point in it. It has been really enjoyable.
No update from O'Toole Park at the moment, huh?
Nothing at the moment. Well, I'll get one in a second.
Okay.
You know I struggle with multitasking. Heatherton takes his point, and we're all square again.
I still think at some stage he'll go for one. I remember, I think it was in 18, Reiner got one. You were sitting up here with O'Donnell in the box in the replay of the county final, and Reiner just went for it. And I think at some stage Hedger just might, and he might test Gibbons or Butler out.
Butler spills it under pressure. It was really fine work from Vincents. Heatherton intercepted, comes back towards McBride, but he couldn't make it his, or Mulcahy, I beg your pardon. Gibbons racing out.
Again, that straight line ball. It must be so frustrating for Kieran Dowland sitting over there looking like when you Fergal Whiteley and Oisin O'Rourke and Alex Considine and you're giving balls straight. It's heartbreaking for a manager.
Lanigan goes short dish, but behind Bulger. Shane Veal. Cian Ryan. It's another straight one which Ronan Hayes tries to get to. And does. Hayes squeezes in between two defenders, squeezes a shot off as well.
Serious score.
And gets a score.
Probably scored a day like for the pressure that he was under too, and it's an important one. Again, Mark let the play go, and some refs you'd see blowing something like that as well, just for contact, but let it go, and Hayes got a great score off his right.
His second by my count. Mark Sweeney. Sweeney trying to get around Considine. Considine fouls him free in for Vincent.
And Sweeney's done well there. He's loads of pace as well. Like he's a fine defender for Vincents, and this will will Hedjo come out? I think he will.
Well, it's a good game, but it just goes to show there is a difference between fighting to stay in Championship and fighting to progress in Championship.
Absolutely, yeah. I still think that winning, if you win today, Oisin, your tail is up. Whether it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you get a game down the country in whatever 2 weeks' time, the quarterfinals are on, and you keep going, but you have that winning mentality about it. And just from a management point of view, I think no matter what stage of the year you're at, I think you can't beat that sense of winning. And I don't think Crokes have lost a game in Championship this year, and I know Vinny's drew against Bridget's.
Heatherton.
It's a super score by. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic.
Again, he's looking for someone to cover the 9 spot here now, so he doesn't have to be so far out from goal. That's something that Vincent's have to work on for the next day to cover. When he's so far out, he needs to get back into 14 now to make sure someone's covering the 9.
And we're all square again as Davy Crowe sends it to Whiteley. Whiteley paddles it on. A shot coming from Oisin O'Rourke. And Crokes lead again. It's just a straight shootout, isn't it?
It is, and it's enjoyable as well from a neutral point of view. You can see it, but Oisin, I don't know how he's been left alone. Like he's the one for Crokes who seems to, every time he gets the ball, I think he's at 1 wide maybe. But his efficiency for shooting is very, very good. And again, I think he's somebody who has to be looked at. I know it's not new, but I think he's somebody who has to be looked at over the coming months as well, because his efficiency of shooting is very, very good. Throw, no?
It's one of those ones that he gets away with. Oisin O'Rourke. It's a little bit loose, but Cian Ryan is there waiting. Looking for Whiteley and finding him. Whiteley has a runner inside. That's Dara Purcell. Whiteley takes it on himself. That looks like it's going all the way over.
Yeah, it was tight, good score, and he had the runner. Like Purcell would have been annoyed enough if he hadn't given it to him. I really like Purcell. I think his movement is serious. Like he reminds me of young Larkin that they had a couple of years ago as well, 18 and 19. The chap from North was very, very effective in midfield for Crokes and McMullen, and but Purcell is special. You can see his feet, but I just think if I'm Crokes, if I'm the manager there, I'm looking to get more of him on the ball, more of Fergal on the ball, and again, what you have to work on inside is getting that ball at an angle into Alex and Hazer.
Cian McBride down receiving treatment. I appreciate if you're going off the numbers that went out earlier on social media. You probably think that's Simon Gormley. It isn't. There was a few switches in numbers regards Vincents, which in fairness they sought us out and told us about beforehand. We appreciate that. Dara Purcell Considine. That's some run from Considine. Is it some finish?
It is,
yes.
yeah. A few steps there as well, I think, that the boys are shouting at, but again, Purcell made that. Again, how do you improve that? You know, that ball goes to Considine's hand first time rather than his hurl. You know, little small things like that would make him a really, really effective special forward, I think.
Well, what won the county title for Kilmacud Crokes last year was their ability to finish games strongly and do it when it counted. They're in a good run of form here. Here's Hayes.
Simple score now.
Didn't catch it quite right, it goes wide. Vincents go direct. Cian Ryan is coming out to try and meet this one. There was a foul being committed off the ball. The referee is given a free into Vincents. 25 points, plays 22 when you make the conversion.
Yeah, young Cian Ryan doesn't look... He seems to be a bit surprised with that one. Didn't see it myself, but Kilmacud have been good the last few minutes now. I think Vincent's need this score as well, kind of to settle him down again, to give it a real kind of grandstand finish to it. See Coola down at the end doing their usual warm-up in their usual spot, so that's a big game coming up, I think, for both teams as well. I don't think Bowden will want to lose that. They've lost to Coola, I think, the last two times at county final in 20 and then last year in the quarter-final, so a big game coming up, I think, later on as well for between the two of them.
That was an epic, that quarter-final last year, as Heatherton, who's had an epic game today, taps it over. Coola and Ballybowden, by the way, live here on Dubs TV. As Kilmacud Crokes make a change, Luke O'Loughlin goes off. No, I beg your pardon, it's Shane Veal is going off. And Michael Roach comes in. Shane Veal of Kilmacud Crokes, strongly connected to the Ardmore Club in County Waterford, the home club of the Prendergast. Considine couldn't keep it in play, just skipped away from him. Well, Michael Roach has been in the senior ecosystem of Kilmacud Crokes, but was with the Bees last year, the senior twos as they're known this year. Fergal Whiteley steals in. He might take it on himself. Whiteley.
Finish
in every sense, I think. Whiteley with the second goal for Kilmacud Crokes, who now lead by 5.
Yeah, and again, I go back to what I said a few minutes ago. If you're managing that team, you say, how do I get more out of Fergal? And again, when he's away like that, he doesn't miss. He's great feet, great wrists. He was quiet for a long time today, the same as I felt at the time McBride has been quiet for Vincents, but when Fergal got inside there, a super finish off his left hand side, and that could be it for Crokes if they can get the next score too. I think the next score now is important. You don't need a ball going into Hedgehoe here now. You want to stop it in that kind of 40 or that 60 area to make sure the ball doesn't go in direct to him.
It's a risky strategy, but I wonder, did they leave Dara Butler on Heatherton today to teach him a lesson in a very good way?
No, I don't know. Butler's been around a long time, I don't know. It's a good question. I think I've been impressed with young Sheedy anytime I've seen him. I've been very impressed with Davy Crowe. Is Butler a full back? I'd probably say no, but he's going to learn.
That's what I mean. Are they saying, right, you know what, we're going to give you the 60 minutes on him?
Well, I suppose you're without is Bill, you're still your number one full back. For me, he is in ways, like, because he's a man in there too, and I think it's as much as he treads on the edge sometimes. For me, like, he's definitely somebody that could still do it there.
You have to keep in mind as well with Heatherton, there isn't a full back in the country that he wouldn't win a few balls off. So it doesn't. Even if you change Dara Butler, you might still lose that battle or break even in that battle, or he'll still
somebody got the message too much though as well. Somebody got the message you don't have to try and catch every ball with him. Break the ball to ground, because I think that's a really important message in there as well. So credit to the management team from Crokes for that.
Brian Hayes, good pass. Michael Roach applies the finish.
And that's smart, that's important. Like, you'd see other teams trying to recycle that and create another goal chance. Like, that's smart from Roach. You've just got a goal, get the next score again. Keep popping over those scores now, because now if you keep going, you're in the semi-final in 4 weeks' time.
Well, it's something that Brian Cody talked about during the season. The fact that they won Leinster, it effectively earned them a training block. And he said it really paid dividends running into their semi-final and then later the final, which they lost, but they lost by the narrowest of margins against one of the best teams we've ever seen play the game. So you can get an awful lot out of these training blocks. Whereas if you have a quarter-final, you nearly have to aim for that rather than get a good hard week done and then settle down for the next couple of weeks for the semi-final.
Yeah, but again, if you look at the Crokes point of view as well, you get more chance now to get Bill right, to get Kilmacud right for something wrong, to get Quailon right. You know, there's both sides to it. But look, I'm sure Vincents will also see the fact that they go into a game now, and it'll give them a chance to kind of re-energise themselves again. If you're not, look, the Bluffers get called out this time of the year as well. In my eyes, like there's a chance to win a championship, you're going to have to beat the top teams, Oisin, anyway. You know.
Vincents aren't done yet. Stephen McCarry gets a good score. 5 between them.
Park there, 2:15, 1:10 to Lucan.
Lucan leading 2:15 to 1:10, so they're looking good for a spot in the quarterfinals. They'll join Kilmacud, Crokes, and St Vincent's in getting out of the group. That's a mighty score. Was that Whiteley who hit that one?
Yeah. And I think you're right. I think they're showing the form that they did last year too. And look, you wouldn't want to say this obviously to Nafina, but the form that they had towards the end of games last year, where they really pushed on and they've looked really, really effective. You know, over the last kind of 5 to 7 minutes.
Vincents need a goal. They need it quickly. Cian McBride does his best to help set one up. Ryan McBride, it slips through his fingers. Scramble on. Well, we're talking like this one is done. It's anything but. Well, you're not, I am.
Yeah, look, I've been impressed with Vincent today as well. I have to say, some of the younger players who've kind of stood in for maybe 1 or 2 injuries. Tom O'Connor's a big loss, I think, for Vincent today. So it'll give him a chance now, please God, in the next 2 weeks to get right. But to me, Crokes look dangerous. I hadn't seen them in the flesh this year yet, and I'm impressed by their movement. Impressed by, again, you know, I think they're going to need a physical challenge in 2 weeks' time when the other quarter final is on, because you won't win a semi-final in Dublin nice. And I suppose they showed that physical nature to themselves.
Bounces kindly back to Gibbons. Slotted out to Dara Purcell. It is at the time of the year where you will be able to get good challenge matches. Vincents, they know they have to try and work the opportunity. Heatherton! They aren't done. That's a hat-trick for Heatherton. Set up nicely by McCarry's pass. Heatherton took it, turned and absolutely smashed it home. So 224, that's 30 points. 318, that's 27 points. 3 between them. Davy Crowe. If it's a draw, by the way, Crokes win the group and Vincent's go to the quarterfinals. Here's Ronan Hayes. That's a foul and a free in.
Yeah, it's a good play by Ronan again. Like the easy thing there would be to kind of stay out in the side and put the ball over your shoulder, but he wanted to take the man on because he knew he'd draw a free or break it. But what a finish by Hedgehow again. If you're a team going into a quarter final now and you know what you have to deal with, like, he is dangerous on the edge of the square. Like, for me, you know, Crokes have this one. I know I said it last year in the county final, but they do. But I've been very impressed with Hedgehow, like, for the amount of ball that he's got to score 3 goals, you know, at the championship level against a good team. But there's goals to be got in that full back line unless they sort it out over the couple of weeks that Crokes have. So facing Crokes, again, what I'd be looking at if you're managing Crokes is, you know, you need to tighten that full back line over the next couple of weeks, because if you're facing whatever, a Bowden or a Crokes or a Bowden or a Kula or, you know, a Lucan, you're going to need to be stronger inside.
Oisin O'Rourke to put Crokes 4 points up and probably seal the game. He has done so.
He's been unerring, hasn't he, today with the freeze? Maybe missed one full time.
And that's it. A straight shootout between these two. An enjoyable game. Kilmacud Crokes win the game. Kilmacud Crokes win the group. But St Vincent's, well, a lot of positives for them to take from the group and the game. They go through to the quarterfinals. Kilmacud Crokes seal their spot in the semi-finals. Joe, what did you make of it?
Yeah, I think positives for both sides. I said at the start, for me, if you're managing, you want to win it. And you know, I know there's a 4-week gap now, and that'll be a test for managing, and I suppose for S&C coaches and for, you know, everybody involved. But I think if you're Crokes now, you played well today. There's a lot to work on in that full back line for me. Very impressed by some of the performances. Some of the young lads, Davy Crowe, Dara Purcell is a, you know, he's a Rolls Royce if they can get more out of him. And, you know, Fergal has been somebody who I've always been impressed at from underage up. Oisin was outstanding today. I thought at 11, breaking off the 11 an awful lot. And the 2 boys inside, Hayes and Constantine, will always be a sense of danger. Vincent's point of view, you know, did good performance, I think, from 1 or 2 of the young lads. Morehouse Carroll did well, I thought. Oisin Lanigan had a good game. You know, their county, I'd like to see more out of Conor Burke and Ryan McBride. I didn't see enough of them today for me. Does that role at club level 100% suit Burkey to keep him involved? I'm not sure, but, you know, they've a lot to work on. Hedgehow, I can see down there signing autographs with the young people from Vince. He was very good today, 3 goals, and, you know, they're in a quarter final now, and I suppose they've a lot to work on, and management will earn their crust over the coming weeks to get them sorted.
Let's have a look at the highlights of the second half.
Yeah, Oisín has stepped up to the freeze now since Howard and a few others have gone away over the last couple of years. For Whiteley had taken him for a while as well with them, I suppose. But he was unerring today. He was very good. When they needed him to be good with the freeze, he was good, and he got a couple of great scores out on the right hand side as well.
Nicely worked, Fergal Whiteley. We'll see him again in this highlights reel.
You will. You see him for a goal, and I think when he got on ball, he was impressive. He'd won maybe 2 poor wides off his right, but he got into it as well. But anything that was good, I think that came from the Crokes at times came from the middle. But that was a great score. I think it's Bulger on the right hand side. But anything I think came from Purcell for me. Like he really is somebody who will progress with Crokes, but also with Dublin as well over the coming years.
Lucan have won against St. Bridget's. We'll come back to that in a second. That means Lucan are into the quarterfinals. Heatherton, he was a thorn in the side of Crokes all day. Won the free there. More from him to come.
Yeah, again, Oisín, on the right hand side, and he broke off the 6. And whether he's playing a 12 or 11, he seemed to be effective every time that he got on the ball. His shooting efficiency was very, very good. Thought Fionn O'Callagh did really, really well at times. Got a great score off his left out here as well. Came off with about 15 to go. Probably looked a bit. I said that to you about after about 5 minutes. I think he needs a little bit more work fitness wise, and I think he could be something that's special for. But again, Vincents were smart and had to take some of those tackles in the second half to stop the kind of marauding run of Considine and Ronan as well.
Heatherton again probing. Finished the game with 3-10. What a block that was. Sliding in was Rob O'Loughlin.
Yeah, and again, I think when you look at young Davy Crowe, some of the defending by some of the young lads for Crokes was good. It's just to tighten up that full back line. I think is going to be important for them. And again, I actually think I think O'Carroll back in there might be no harm in ways as well.
Well, Butler, who's not like a kid, but he's still relatively young, will have learned a lot from his experience today. That said, when Heatherton's on fire, he can be very difficult to mark. Cian McBride, the ball rebounded around Ryan McBride. There again, fouled outside the square. Butler knew exactly what he was doing. So did McBride. Heatherton popped over the point.
And Ryan was quiet today, wasn't he? Like for a fella, like he scored 5 points against us, from play in Westmeath this year, and he can be so good in that half forward line. But just from his own standards today, I thought he was quiet, and and you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Is he unwell or whatever? But for me, like they need more out of him going forward because he's a top player for me. And when he's on form, he can be a real 9 out of 10 player for you when he's having a good day.
Oisín O'Rourke snipping one over. Whiteley. His best bit yet to come, but that wasn't bad either. Considine getting out in front and winning the ball all day. A suspicion of steps there, but still a well taken score. Yeah,
still a well taken score, and he's both sides as well, which is good for Alex too. But he just reminds me an awful lot of he's a Bonner Marr type of work off him. Even though he's more hurling, he's better wrists probably than, but he has that directness that that teams are missing at times up front. And this is the finish by Fergal, and again smart, short in the hurl, wrists straight to the corner, like left arrow with no chance in the goal.
Good finish by Fergal Whiteley. Michael Roach off the bench and popped one over.
Yeah, good score, and was smart at the time too. I think when Hedgehoe got that third goal, it was important to be 3 points ahead rather than 2. So some of the decision making by the young Crokes lads was good. But Vincent's never give up, and if you're standing in that huddle over there now, you're going to be honest and you're going to say, look, you drew against Bridget's, you've lost today, but like you're in a quarter final now, and I suppose with the way results have gone, the loser of this match here, and I hope I'm right because I know you say I'm rarely wrong, but the loser of this match here will play Lucan. Whoever loses between Bowden and Coola will play Lucan, and that means then that Vincent's play. Sorry, I stopped listening to you. I was just looking at these highlights. That's what you're supposed to be talking about. Yeah.
We will clarify that. Yeah. But Vincent's put it up to Crokes here. Unfortunately for them, couldn't get the victory. But again, they were already in. I have it now. Vincent's will play in Fina or Plunkett. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Fine. Very good. Anyway, the final score here: Kilmacud Crokes 225, St Vincent's 318. Lucan overcoming Bridget's over in O'Toole Park 217 to 111. The final score there. So Lucan joins St Vincent's in the quarterfinals, and Kilmacud Crokes march on straight to the semi-finals. Who'll join them in the semi-finals? Will it be Ballyboden or will it be Coola? Those two meeting at 5:30. That game is going to be live. We'll also keep you updated on the other game in the group, because that has ramifications for who gets through to the quarterfinals and who doesn't, and in what order. For now though, we'll wrap it up and we'll say we'll see you in a few minutes.